Hello, welcome to Walking the Walk. The reason that I'm laughing is because this introduction is quite an interesting video for me to record because it's actually July the 27th. So it's taken me a little bit longer than I hoped to get this peak week vlog and sort of like photo shoot behind the scenes video put together because I went straight to Glastonbury after the photo shoot, which was great. There are some clips in this video of Glastonbury, so keep an eye out. Glastonbury was fun, and then I had a crazy couple of weeks in the UK with catching up with people. Danny, my client, did his photo shoot. Look at this, he smashed it, and I know he's going to be watching this, so you feature. You are now famous, Danny. You're going to be shown to the 30 people that are going to watch this. So yeah, it's taken me a little bit longer than I wanted to put this video together, but it is worth it. It was actually quite a nice thing to go back and piece it all together, because I could kind of relive the week, and it was quite funny because you'll see when you get into the video, like I was quite miserable on the depletion days and the low carb days, and then as soon as the carbs go in, it's just quite a funny switch where I'm just like a different person. So what I'm going to do in this introduction is just run you through what is a peak week, like what's the point of it when you're leading into something like a photo shoot. Bodybuilders do it to a bit more of an extreme level than what I do for the photo shoot and what I put clients through for the shoots as well. It's not quite as, there's no heavy like water manipulations or anything like that. But I'm just going to run you through my peak week plan and kind of explain the gist of what you're going to be seeing in this vlog so that it kind of all makes sense. But the photo shoot went really well. Just a little bit of a rundown on it. I'll put some pictures up whilst I'm talking. It went better than I thought it was going to be honest. Like, I think as a guy, and maybe women do this as well, but whenever I look at my physique pictures, I always just look at my abs and I'm like, are my abs shredded? And if no, then N equals 1 and I'm not in better shape or I'm not in good shape. And I know that that's probably a bit of a warped perception, but then I got the pictures back and like my arms, my back, my chest, like there's been a lot of physique development from when I last did a photo shoot. So it was my best ever shape, and that was the aim of doing the photo shoot, which was cool. I'm not going to say too much about what is going to come next in terms of my journey because I'm going to get something else up and running on the YouTube channel, hopefully next week. And kind of just run you through what I'm thinking now. So I have got another photo shoot booked for 18 weeks time. So over summer, the goal really is just to kind of maintain where I'm at. I'm currently sat about a kilo up on my shoot weight. So I'm there or thereabouts, like a week or two of, putting myself back into a deficit right now. And I would be back to the shoot condition that I was in June. So I haven't rebounded, which is always good. So yeah, I won't say too much on that now because that's just a different topic, but keep an eye on the channel because there will be some stuff coming. All right, I'll stop waffling and I'll get into the peak week. All right, so the general gist of a peak week is there's a few reasons. You're looking to drop any sort of water retention that you've got from the stress of the training and the diet, and you're looking to get your physique looking as full and as tight as possible. So the first thing with the nutrition, there's 2 depletion days and then there's 2 carb up days. And the theory behind this is if you have a couple of days where you reduce your carbohydrates, you do a little bit of light exercise, so you do train, I'll get to the training in a second, you kind of deplete your muscles of glycogen and make sure that they're really sort of like empty. Because what that then does is if your muscles are depleted in glycogen, your insulin sensitivity goes up and your muscles are much more receptive to the carbohydrates that you then pull in. So they'll be like a sponge and they'll just pull, when you do the carb up, they'll just pull the carbs into the muscle. And as the carbs go into the muscle, for every gram of carbohydrate that you store within the muscle, there's 3 grams of water. So you pull all the carbs into the muscle with all the water and that helps the muscle expand and look full. So the 2 depletion days, I was on between 100 and 150 grams of carbs purely from salad, fruit and veg. So you'll see there's a lot of salad, fruit and veg. So yeah, I don't think I actually touched 150. It was closer to the 100 mark for 2 days. Leading into that, I did also have a few days in a pretty big deficit. I flew back to the UK, and then my food, was kept quite low for a few days whilst also doing a lot of steps and training. So I was pretty depleted. I felt pretty depleted, as you'll see. And then I had 2 days where I then carbed up. So 450 grams of carbohydrates, 2 days back to back. From easily to digest carbohydrate sources, so bagels, oats, jam, bananas, that sort of thing, and it was like Christmas. So the idea then is those 2 carb up days, the muscles pull in the carbs, and it just helps with looking full. So that's what the main gist of the nutrition. You keep your fluid intake high through the whole process, but on the carb up days, I did increase my fluid intake to 7 or 8 litres, because if we're trying to get carbohydrate and water into the muscle, you want to make sure you've got a lot of water going in to obviously support that process. And then the day before the shoot, so you don't carb up the day before, I actually then taper my food back down. It's not a really low carb day. It was kind of in the middle at about 250 grams, because then that just, you're keeping your carbohydrate levels topped up. But if you have, spilt over a little bit where maybe your muscles are full, and then the water and the carbs kind of sit under the skin. So if you have a day in between the carb up and the photo shoot where you taper the food back down, it just gives the body a chance to get rid of any water retention. So that's the gist of what I was doing with the nutrition. And then with the training, it's no sort of like failure, all out training sessions. It's like your training intensity drops down to like a deload style. It's quite boring. You're just getting a bit of a pump on. And contracting the muscles that you want to show in the shoot, because the idea is there that as you're getting a bit of a pump on in the depletion days, that's assisting with depleting the muscles, and then during the carb up days, that's assisting with getting the carbs actually into the muscle that you want it to go into. So getting a bit of a pump on just kind of directs the carbohydrates into the muscle. So that's the gist with the training. I didn't change anything with my sodium intake. I just kept it as normal, like a few grinds on some of my meals. Training across the week was, I did 2 upper body sessions, 1 full body, and then 1 arm session, and no training the day before the shoot, because obviously you've got to go get your tan on and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Like, if you do a photo shoot, I wouldn't overthink the logistics of this, to be honest, and don't do anything drastic like cut your water intake or take diuretics, that happens in the bodybuilding world, but it can lead you into some pretty big problems. And also with your physique as well. You can do these little things, but the body is very sensitive to hydration status. So if you cut your water I actually wrote an article for My Protein on this, and it's still on their website, My Protein USA. If you Google, should bodybuilders dehydrate before stepping on stage, my article will come up probably at the top of the search. It's quite cool. Little claim to fame there. But yeah, so if you dehydrate for too long before you're going to do a shoot or a bodybuilding show, your muscles will start to lose their fullness, because remember that the reason for taking in the carbs is to get more carbs and water into the muscles. So if you're then dehydrated, your body will start pulling water from the muscle stores. So then you start to lose that fullness. So it doesn't really make sense to do anything drastic with water. All I do is on the day of the shoot, just sip, just to quench first. But yeah, I will leave it there. I just wanted to give you a gist in terms of what a peak week is, what's the reason for it, and what's the rationale behind some of the things that I'm doing. And I'll now pass over to my old self, who is going to take you through a live, step-by-step, daily vlog of the peak week. So enjoy. So day 1 of peak week, and what a way to start it. I'm out for a 5 a.m. walk in the British countryside. So my body clock is very much still set to Athens. Travelled back yesterday, and then stayed with my friends last night to start packing for Glastonbury, which was exciting, but obviously resulted in being 2 very different frame of minds, because I'm starting a peak week for a fitness photo shoot, but then also packing my bag with various cocktails and alcohol drinks for Glastonbury. So yeah, it's quite a weird combination having both on the horizon at the same time, because obviously just 2 very different concepts, but it was quite funny. But anyway, day 1 of peak week. I'm not going to talk too much on this video. because I'm going to introduce it. You'll have just watched the introduction, so there's no point in me even explaining that. I am out for a very peaceful British countryside walk. It's so nice. I haven't been somewhere this quiet since I was last here, probably like at Christmas. Obviously being in a major city, even like out by the coast where I am in Athens, like it's still, you know, there's noise, there's mopeds, there's stuff going on. So to just be out here, like, can't hear anything other than the birds. So quiet, so nice. So this is a really beautiful way to start peak week with some steps. And then today is going to be a very low carb day and a pump session in the gym later. But as I say, I'm not going to spoil this walk with too much talking, but I just thought I'd get a quick clip of it. So I'll catch you on the next clip, whenever that may be. So just out for my morning walk on day 2 of peak week, and it wouldn't be a British trip if it wasn't grey and raining. And because I'm just in such a habit of being in Greece, I've just walked out without a jacket, but I've got caffeine, so it's okay. Day 2, how did day 1 go? It was actually a really tough day yesterday. I think because I woke up so early yesterday morning. I only had like 5 hours sleep. So I was very hungry yesterday, and obviously it was a very, very low carb day. So appetite was pretty high and I was pretty ratty. My mood was not good yesterday. I really wanted to actually just go and train like properly and throw some heavy weights around, but I had to follow the plan. So did a obviously like pump style session, which is just leaving like 4 or 5 reps in the tank at all times just to get a bit of blood flow into the muscles. But it's not fun. I don't enjoy that sort of training, so that was a bit frustrating, to be honest, because I actually did want to train hard yesterday. So yeah, it's good. The only thing that's bothering me a little bit at the minute is after the flight I had really bad like gas and bloating, and I've still got a little bit of it. So like my stomach is a little bit like distended is the right word, just a bit bloated and like sore. So obviously I'm eating good quality food. I might have to taper the fibre down a little bit today and just try and get rid of some of it. But obviously that means I'll be hungry, but it is what it is. I've still got obviously a good 5 days to shake that. So today it's going to be more of the same. It's a low carb day, just carrying on with the depletion. Training is going to be a full body pump session. Steps are going to be at around 15k. And water intake is going to be between 6 and 8 litres. Other than that, I started exfoliating and moisturising last night as well to get the skin ready for the tan. And you know what? I actually don't mind that part of it. It's pretty much the only time my skin gets a proper exfoliate. Obviously I do my face and scrub my face properly and stuff, but other than that I just shower with shower gel and soap and body wash. I don't stand there scrubbing my skin every shower, so it actually feels quite nice. And I did an Instagram post yesterday saying it's quite interesting contrast having a fitness photo shoot like 5 days before Glastonbury, because 1 week I'm going to be exfoliating and moisturising and getting myself looking pretty, and then the next week I'm going to be going without a shower for 6 days and living like an animal in a tent. My body's not going to know what's going on. So yeah, it's all fun and games. All right, so yeah, just going to finish my walk and then do a bit of work and try and leave my first meal until a little bit later today, just so I can not be as hungry in the evening. But nearly there. 2 more days of depletion and then the carb up begins. So you'll start seeing some carbs appear in my videos. All right, on to day 2. So just stopped for my first meal of day 2 of peak week, and it's 300 grams of Greek yogurt, so just like I'm in Greece, and 200 grams of berries with some cinnamon, and then supplements. I've got omega-3s, vitamin D, and a multivit. As I said, today is a low carb day, so aiming for like less than 100 grams of carbs, and that's all going to come from fruit, salad and veg, so no complex carbs. This is day 2 of like full depletion. It is what it is. It's very similar foods obviously to what I've been eating during the diet anyway. So yeah, it's fine. It gets me by, and it's champagne problems. All right, a little bit hungry, but could definitely be worse. So yeah. Even though this looks boring as hell, you actually can't get lean beef that easily in Greece. It's quite fatty. So because I've been watching my calories for a while and sticking mainly to lean protein, I've not actually had any beef like this for a bit. So I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on that. I'll probably actually quite enjoy this meal, even though it's boring. But again, it's just protein, fats, and the carbs are coming from the broccoli. So no complex carbs in this meal either. Yeah.
Oh, quick, 3-second rule.
I'm trying to video it. Okay. Hello, I'm here in Huntingdon town centre where my mum lives, and it's day 3 of peak week, so it's the last like really low carb day, and I'm feeling the pinch this morning of the depletion days. I've done a lot of steps actually over the last couple of days, probably more than I wanted to. I did like 25,000 yesterday, so I've actually been in a pretty big deficit the last few days, and I'm feeling pretty flat. But it's the last day of really digging in, because tomorrow I start carbing up. So today's agenda is I'm going to go have a coffee and do a bit of work now, walk around the shops, get a few bits of Glastonbury and get the steps in, and then I'm going to go to the gym for another pump session. So obviously you saw in the clips that yesterday it was I did legs, abs and arms, and it was quite hard to get a pump I must say, because of the just lack of carbohydrates in my system right now. But that will be rectified as of tomorrow when I start putting the carbs in. So yeah, it's going well. The bloating that I mentioned yesterday has gone down quite a bit, which is nice, because I was getting a bit worried. Like, it was like, you know when your stomach is like painful and like protruding, it was like that. And I think it always happens to be quite badly after a flight. Lots of gas, so I took a few antacids, and thankfully it's settled down. So hit a new low on the scale this morning for the whole year, which was nice. So it's about a pound heavier than where I was for my last shoots, but I'm more muscular, so I think I'm officially gonna look better. I hope, we'll see. Mindset wise, it's been a bit up and down, I'll be honest. Like, there has been quite a few days where it's been like, oh, could have been better, could have done this, could have done that, but I just have to we are where we are, and this is just a progress shoot, and I'm gonna go again later in the year. As I've said on the previous episode of Walking the Walk, like, I've been dating, and to be honest, like, it's been worth loosening off a little bit at weekends with food and like stuff. Like, I've not drank, I've stuck to not drinking, which I'm actually very proud of. So next week, will it be next week when I have my first drink with my mum in London? That'll be my first drink in like 13 weeks or 12 weeks or something. So I'm pretty proud of that. But yeah, like mindset wise, it is a bit up and down, I'll be honest, but I think that's normal because it's like, you know, I've got big goals and I want to get to a certain level and, you know, set the bar high for myself and for my clients and stuff. But it is what it is. I'm not going to continue to beat myself up over it because there has been a lot of that, to be honest, over the last few weeks. But yeah, I'm over that now. Like, I'm in the UK, it's been nice to see family. I'm going to go and enjoy the shoot, get some good pictures, go and enjoy Glastonbury. I'm not letting a few kilos of body fat spoil the time that I'm spending in the UK, you know. I want to be present with family and friends. I want to be present at Glastonbury. I want to enjoy it, and then I'll go back to Greece and get back to work. So yeah, on to day 3 of peak week, the last depletion day. No, it's gonna the meal plans, by the way, I'll put in the description. I've used the exact same meal plan for the sort of the 3 depletion days, and I'll use the same meal plan for the carb up days. But the carb up days will largely just be really easy to digest carbs like oats. I might use a little bit of like honey, jam, fruit, potato, that sort of thing. But I will be avoiding pasta. I don't think I'll have any bread just because I've not had any bread for quite a while. So I don't want to be messing around with anything that might bloat me. And I know I'm really good at digesting oats and potatoes. So I'll probably go with that. And like I say, chuck in a bit of jam, honey, banana, that sort of thing. Keep it healthy. And I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. A couple of structured carb up days is going to be very nice. All right, I'm going to stop waffling because I appreciate that this peak week video is meant to be short clips every day. So I'll take a few clips through the day of the meals that I'm eating, the training, that sort of thing. But tomorrow is where you'll start to see the carbs coming in. So today it'll probably be more tuna salads and yogurt and fruit, basically, and more boring looking training sessions. But yeah, on to day 3 of peak week. It's a Sunday, it's very quiet, so I'm gonna go for a coffee and crack on. All right, just got home from a very successful shopping trip, although I've now done like 12,000 steps today and I'm quite low on food, so I'm ravenous. But I got some stuff for Glastonbury. I got a nice outfit to go to London with my mum with next week because I realised that I only had stuff for the shoot and for Glastonbury, neither of which are suitable clothing for going to London for a nice lunch and going to, well, I can't actually say what we're doing because she can hear me and she doesn't know. All right, but I got some carbs as well, most importantly. So this meal is 250 grams of lean beef mince, about 300 grams of salad, and then a bit of salad cream, and a bit of ketchup in there. So just protein and fat and a bit of volume. I've dropped out like really high fiber veg like broccoli and green beans and stuff like that is gone now. It's just salad to give me a bit of volume. So protein, fats and no carbs. And then tomorrow I've acquired some bagels. I've acquired some Marmite rice cakes, which I'm very excited for. I've got some oats, bananas, and I've got some jam. So tomorrow there shall be carbs. And I'm looking forward to it, to say the least. This depletion stuff is tough. My mood hasn't been too great today. Hot, bothered, and low on carbs and high on exercise is just not a good combo. But anyway, champagne problems. I'm gonna eat my beef and then get ready for the gym. And in true walking the walk fashion, I've just discovered that my mum actually does this as well. Something sweet to wash down the burger bowl with. Kiwi. Skin on, always. So thankfully, this is the last meal of the depletion days, and I've just finished a rubbish gym session, probably the worst gym session I've had in like 4 or 5 years. it was terrible. It was only a pump session and it felt hard. But at least I can't even like tense properly because there's just no carbs in there. But yeah, at least it's done now. This is the last meal, the last salad for a bit, and then time to get the bagels out tomorrow. So I'll update you on how today has gone when I wake up tomorrow, and we'll go from there. The face of a man who hasn't had any carbohydrates for about 6 days, not a single gram, other than like salad and fruit. I've not had like any bread, oats, potatoes, no nothing. And I've trained every single one of those days and done a lot of steps and some cardio. So I'm depleted and it's now time to carb up. So as I've said in the introduction, like I will put the breakdown of like the meal plans that I've followed for the peak week, for the depletion days and the carb up days, so don't worry too much. But I basically got 400 grams of skyr topped with 50 grams of oats, a banana and some blueberries. And then I've got 2 thin cinnamon and raisin bagels with a bit of jam. Probably the only person in the fitness industry to eat oats like this. Like obviously everyone microwaves it and then mixes in protein powder. But I actually prefer yogurt as the protein and then just use oats as like a topper on top of it. I find it more satiating. But yeah, I'm excited. So I'm gonna sit down, eat some carbohydrates. I've not had a meal this exciting for a good while. I'm gonna enjoy it. And then as usual, I've got my omega-3s and vitamin D. One important thing to mention today is water. So because I'm now taking on board more carbs, and I'm going to go to the gym and do a pump session, the aim is to get those carbs into the muscle so that the muscle appears kind of as full as possible. So increasing fluid intake today to like 8 litres just to really help with nutrient delivery and not running the risk of being dehydrated, especially because it is quite hot and humid. So yeah, 8 litres of fluid, about 450 grams of carbs, get a good pump on. Oh, and today is the hair removal day, which, if you've ever done anything like this, is the biggest faff, especially if you're a bit of a hairy gorilla like me. So I've got to do my chest, my back, my legs, my arms. Leaving this, obviously, but I am going to go to the barber's and get it tidied up. But that's the part of today that I'm really not looking forward to, is the hair removal. But right, I'm going to shut up because I need to eat these carbs, and then I'm going to go to the gym and I'll try and take some clips today. Just got back from a pump session and it was so much better than yesterday. I didn't actually take any clips because I was just enjoying it. I had some Glastonbury music on, and also I'm in a bit of a rush because it's Monday and I've got work to do. But it's nearly time for hair removal. And I definitely do need a barber's trip regardless of the photo shoot. But yeah, just sat down. I'm not actually having any protein in this meal because I am keeping protein quite low today, and I've already had quite a bit. And for dinner, I've got chicken, wrap, and I'll have some yogurt again before bed, and that'll hit my protein for today. So this is a post-workout platter. And the rice cakes I've been looking forward to for a long time because they are Marmite flavoured. And then I've got 4 squares of chocolate, and I've not actually had any chocolate for a long time, but I found this, which is actually vegan chocolate, which means it's slightly lower in sugar. I didn't know how it would be, but it's actually really good. So 4 squares of dark chocolate with a little bit of fat in, just to slow the absorption of the carbs a little bit. I won't go into the science of that. Some blueberries, some Marmite rice cakes, some tomatoes and cucumber. So as I said, I've dropped out all of the sort of like really high fiber, raw kind of vegetables like carrots and lettuce and broccoli and all that sort of stuff. So just tomatoes and cucumber because they're easy to digest. Blueberries, dark chocolate and rice cakes. That's my post-workout platter, I'm calling it. Good morning. It is Tuesday. I don't know what date it is. It is the 17th of June. That's the date. So day one of carbs complete, and as you can probably tell, I'm feeling a little bit more energized and happy about the whole situation now. Like, I honestly cannot tell you the difference of how I feel today in comparison to yesterday morning. After putting I ended up with 500 grams of carbs yesterday. Like, when I was at the gym yesterday, I was really reflecting on this, and I was like, I don't personally understand how anyone who does like low carb dieting or, you know, carnivore or whatever can argue with me that training performance just isn't hindered by going low carb. Because honestly, on Sunday, like, the steps to get me to the gym felt hard. Yesterday, I had about 150 grams of carbs in my breakfast with the bagels and the oats. And within 2 hours of that getting into my bloodstream, I felt like a new person. I was dancing my way up to the gym with Glastonbury music on. And when I was at the gym, I wanted to go crazy and lift heavy and smash it. But I didn't, because I didn't want to cause any swelling. But yeah, it just makes such a difference, as you can probably tell from my mental state. And then yesterday I did the hair removal, which, to be honest, is probably the hardest part of the process. It took about 2.5 hours, and I've still got a few patches of hair on my knees and stuff that needs to come off. But yeah, that was a mission. I do, in a weird way, kind of like the look once it's done, especially with it being summer. But I don't think it's something that I'll commit to be honest, because it's a lot of effort. But it's done. And I woke up this morning, did my pictures for my coach, and for the first time in a while, I looked at it and I was like, do you know what? Like, okay, I'm not where I wanted to be. I'm a few kilos off where I hoped I would be at this point, but I'm not in bad shape. And it's the first time in a while that I've actually looked at my pictures and been okay with them. And again, I'm aware, like, I'm not in bad nick. You know, I'm probably sat around 15% body fat. I've got some visible abs. I've got a good bicep vein. With a pump, I will look pretty good on camera. So I'll go and have a good day, but I'm not finished. In actual fact, sorry, I'm just gonna change hands. In actual fact, I would say doing the peak week has actually really given me the bug for this again, and it's kind of reignited the sort of joy and the fun that I find in this. Because obviously, like, doing the depletion days, carbing up, and actually feeling and seeing the differences, it's quite cool. You know, as someone that's got a master's in physiology, it's actually quite fun, because it's like all of the sort of like little biological things that you know are going on, you actually see it and feel it, which is quite fun. So doing this peak week has given me a bit of a bug for it again, and I am, you know, very, very determined now to make sure I don't regress from where I'm at over the next few weeks, because obviously I've got Glastonbury, but after that I'm probably going to dial it in again through July, because I've got a week in Spain for a bit of a festival type thing where it's going to be hot and I'm going to have my shirt off a lot. So I'm probably going to dial it in again through July. But I'm very, like, my head is in a great place now, actually. Like, I'm excited to get this shoot done, learn from it, maintain where I'm at, and then go again for another push later in the year. But yeah, that's the first carb update complete. And as you can probably, I'm actually quite excited to put these videos together and see the difference in my mood, energy, everything, in comparison to the low carb day and the high carb day. People have noticed it as well. Like, clients that I spoke to on both days have said that they can see that I'm a bit more energized. So yeah, like, it's made a big difference, as you can tell. So I'm in a good place, ready for day 2 of carbing up. Today is a check-in day, so I've got a busy work day, and then I'm heading to Nottingham and I'm going to meet Jono, who was this client and also long-term friend, and we are going to hit the gym, get a pump session in, stay at an Airbnb, and then he's coming down to London with me tomorrow once I've got the tan and stuff on. So it'll be nice to catch up with him. We'll have a bit of a laugh, and obviously I'll be taking some clips through the next couple of days as I get the tan on and get to the gym and do a bit of a pump up. I'll get some behind the scenes stuff, and then obviously I'll show you the pictures. So let's rock and roll with the second carb up day and go get checked in with my clients. Making my drugs, pump drugs. Do you know the other day, I actually very nearly made a serving of this to go to the gym, which would have been bad. Melatonin kicking in halfway through a high squat. Have you ever seen people raw dog?
Yeah, my brother does as well.
Really?
The creatine in that. Madman.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
500 grams of carbs and 2 scoops of that. It's time to get vascular. I've acquired a Spaniard. So me and Jono went to uni together in that building. So just arrived in Nottingham. We just had a bit of a drive around Nottingham actually, and as much as I love it, it definitely made me grateful for being in Athens. The crib. Oh, got Jono making a racket. Yeah, this is the home for the night. I'm actually about to have more carbohydrates because I've not had enough over the last 2 days. So gonna have some oats, yogurt, and a banana to finish the day, and then I'm gonna probably have a quick shower and exfoliate and finish shaving because I've still got patches of hair everywhere. And then I need to get an early night because I've got a busy day tomorrow.
Mate, it must get to a point where it's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So it is Wednesday, it's the day before the shoot. I'm in Nottingham with Jono. I've just done a morning of work and I've not actually done any video clips today, so hello. We're on the way to town because I'm going to the barber's to finally get this trimmed, and today is a no training day, so just going for a walk or two, and carbs are back down today, which I'm actually quite happy about because I, to be honest, was pretty full and bloated last night, and obviously I don't want to be bloated going into the shoot, so I'm actually quite happy to take my food back down again today. I looked pretty full this morning in terms of like muscularity, so they've definitely done the trick. But yeah, just off into Nottingham, glorious Nottingham. Tan today, tan's the main event today. I've been exfoliated this morning, nice smooth silky skin, and yeah, off to get sprayed by Linda. First meal of the day on a moderate carb day. Carbs on the go, squares bars, and the usual. Finally, fucking haircut. Looking a little bit less like Zach Dingle now. So this is how you peak for a photo shoot. I managed to get down to Colic Park with my 900th caffeine beverage of the day. What's that?
Milk or something.
Out in nature. Okay, we just had a Marmite related accident. So I said I'm gonna get a slice of Marmite toast in one of my pictures, and we just went to get the Marmite. Jono dropped it. So there's glass and Marmite all over the floor in Sainsbury's. But I have acquired my next snacks. So I've got some Snacker Jacks. I'm gonna snack on some tomatoes. I've got a banana and some cooked chicken. So some protein, some carbs, a bit of salt, a bit of fat, a bit of volume. And I'm off to get my spray tan. Well, needless to say, I've just been for my spray tan, so looking like I actually live in Greece now. Just going to sit and let it dry while my Uber driver chauffeurs me to London. Alright, last update for today. I'm looking brown. We've made it to the Airbnb and it is time for the last meal that I will eat until after the shoot. Greek yogurt, 450 grams, 125 grams of blueberries, and a packet of salted cashew nuts for some sodium and for some fats. Gonna eat this, chill out for a bit, gonna have a look at some restaurant options for post-shoot, and then get an early night, and it's time to get this show on the road. Good morning. Me and Jono are walking down the street looking for caffeine because I can only sip water this morning because it is the shoot day. Looking like I've been in Barbados for 2 weeks. But yeah, I can only really sip water. Well, I say can like it's some sort of law, but best practice is just to try and keep water quite minimal on the day because obviously you wake up feeling leaner, so you want to maintain that. But the Costa machine only did black Americanos. Now I know that's been the beverage of choice for the last 6 months you've been watching these videos, but I need double espresso this morning. So we're on the hunt for a double espresso at 6:30 in the morning. And where are we?
Slough.
Slough. Sunny Slough. So yeah, it's shoot day. Feeling pretty good. I woke up, I was about half a kilo up this morning on my lightest weight, so carbs have done their trick. Feeling like I'm probably going to get a pretty decent pump on because I'm feeling relatively energized. I'm not hungry. Should be a good day. And then we're going to go for a bit of brunch. And it's time to get ready for Glastonbury. I will make another video probably at some point about how I'm not going to completely fudge all the progress that I've made. One of the ways is I've actually got my next shoot in the diary. Booked it this morning because I do want to go to that next level. And I want to stay in the zone, so booking it, getting it in the diary is a good way to keep the mind in the right place. So I'll take some clips through the day, but I'm largely going to spend the morning just kind of getting ready, getting the coconut oil on, getting pumped up, get some rice cakes in me, and Jono will probably do some behind the scenes stuff, and then it's done. So just on the way to the shoot, and breakfast is salted rice cakes. So on the morning of a shoot, Jono's crashing. On the morning of a shoot or like a show, but none of you are going to be doing shows if you watch me because I'm not a bodybuilder. Bit of carb, bit of sodium, something that's easy to digest is the way to go. You don't want anything heavy that's gonna bloat you up, because obviously you want to be flexing your abs and keeping your waist nice and tight. So carbs, sodium, easy to digest. breakfast, gourmet breakfast, salt and vinegar rice cakes. And then I've just had a triple espresso, which actually led me to go to the toilet and let go of the half a kilo I thought I'd gained from the glycogen. And then I've got about 300 millilitres of fluid to have with like a pump formula, like a citrulline malate. And it's time to rock and roll and get pumped and get this shit done with so I can get to Glastonbury and get pissed.
So the one you back there, if you bring it forward, that's it. Opens up the shoulders nicely, squeezing hard. Perfect. Cool.
Oh, job done. Job done. Do you know what? As you've probably tell from the content over the last 2-3 weeks, maybe even longer, I honestly thought I'd screwed up a few too many times and wasn't actually going to get that good of a picture. But they're good. They're good. I think my problem is I always just look at my abs. It's the first thing. It's the only thing I look at when I look at my physique and my progress. And like, yeah, there are still a few kilos to come off there before I've got a six pack, but my delts and arms looked way better than last time. And I think in a weird way, like a few of these, like having a beard, glasses, like there's just a few things about it. Having the Amsterdam tattoo, not a faded, horrible, just like tribal thing on my arm, just little things like that just made the pictures come out so good. So yeah, I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing. I'm glad it's done because it has been a big weight on my shoulders for fucking ages, and I have had a pretty rough few weeks between the ears, doubting myself over it, but it's done, and I'm not in the mindset to go and absolutely blow it now, which is good. It's different to last time. I'm in the mindset of actually holding on to this for Glastonbury, and then I'm gonna get shit-faced and eat what I want for a week at Glasgow for sure, but I'll also be doing 30,000 steps a day. So, all right, me and John are gonna go and get some food because I am hungry and I need a drink, probably a pint. Yeah, a pint. It's gonna happen. There's no point saying it's not. So I don't know what I was on about when I said that was the last video clip for Walking the Walk, because I can't do all of that and not document the post-shoot feed. So we're off to a place called Hatch in St Albans, sunny St Albans, and I'm gonna get a pint. And it's, well, I'm actually gonna get a Steiner, so I'm gonna get 2 pints. And it's gonna be the first pint I've had in like 13 weeks, and I'm gonna fucking smash it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to that, I'll be honest, more than the food. And I've been eating very boring food for a while now. But yeah, Steiner. Gonna get a Steiner and a brunch.
Not quite as good as you.
I'm trying to take videos of Ryan taking videos, yeah.
Well, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, drop us a comment and say peak in the comments. Peak will do. But yeah, like I said at the start of the video, like I will be getting the YouTube back up and running now. I've got a little bit more time to actually put into it now that a few other things have kind of come to an end work-wise and you know, traveling around the UK and all that sort of thing. So I will be back with some vlogs over the summer, and then I will be kicking off a Walking the Walk season 2, probably mid-August, late August, when I'm dialing back in for my second photo shoot. At the minute, I'm just having a bit of a break, to be honest. Just sitting at maintenance, enjoying a bit more food, enjoying a bit of time in Greece over the summer without, you know, heavily restricting my diet or anything, which is nice. It is nice. So I'll be back. And then I'm also going to do some slightly different content. So I want to do some like behind the scenes of me setting training programs up. I'm going to take you through some changes that I've recently made to my own training. So that'll probably be the next video that I do actually. I'll record a training session next week and I'll just run you through, because I've completely changed my training program for the first time in about 18 months. And there's a few reasons for it, and I've done a full 2-week cycle of the training plan and it feels great. It feels like a really good program. So I'll be bringing you some updates on all that sort of stuff. And of course, life behind the scenes in Greece. So thanks for watching. Sorry it took me so long to get this one out. If you've got any questions on anything that I've said in the video, or you know, if you do your own photo shoots or you want me to guide you through photo shoot preps and peak weeks and all this sort of thing, hit me up at In Shape with Ryan on Instagram, or you can drop a comment below, or you can email me, ryan@inshapenutrition.co.uk, and I'll gladly answer your questions and provide you with more information on how I do the coaching. All right, catch you next time.